All right, what's up and what's going on, everybody? This is Al, and coming in with another one. It is probably a little bit after 2 o'clock, but I've been home since about say about between 12:30, 1 o'clock, and mainly I'm home earlier than usual because usually, if you're following this channel, then you know it's about poker, and usually we go up there early and we start about uh, anywhere between 10:30 on a good day, or it can be as early as 9:45 if people show up. But today was a calling, y'all. It basically was. It was a look in the mirror, look at yourself, look at your past of this game, look at it in general, right? At the moment I'm sitting at the table, I'm actually having all these type of things going through my head while I'm playing. And I'm sitting there and I'm not feeling like I used to feel when it came to playing poker. It almost feels like the challenge has worn out. Um, the rush is now feeling like it's gone, like it's drained, right? I'm actually drained. And basically it's been a downhill spiral. No matter what I do, no matter how I play, no matter how my decisions are made, it just seems like it never holds water, right? So case in point, we sit down and my first hand, playable hand, within 5 minutes, ace queen. I think I'm the hijack if I try to play it in my head right. So I lead out with $10, right? I get two callers, flop comes out, miss everything on the board. I have a decision to make. Should I fire since I raise? And, well, not raise, but should I bet? And I do that. I continue with the betting because the board came out and it did not appear that there was anything there that looked like I had to worry about it. So there's a guy, an old gentleman, and he's pretty tight. He knows me, I know him, and we both respect each other on the table. So the the flop comes out, and the $10 call is playable, right? It is a playable call to make. And he did that. He called. So the flop comes out, and I know there was nothing higher than a 9 on there, right? I can't remember the cards. But I know there was no 10, no jack, no queen, no king, no ace. Nothing to make me worry about anything. If I would have hit the ace, then I'm pretty good. I'm solid. So, of course, I bet because I'm trying to make it seem like I have a high pair. And the reason why I bet at 10 was to get what I get. And I made a bet of 15. He calls it. Turn card comes out, and I bet again. He calls it. River card comes out. He bets. I have to fold. So I put him that he must have had a set because we made his final bet. Either that or he had a high pair. Maybe he had a high pair. I missed the ace queen. Maybe he had queens. Maybe he had aces. I don't know. But he betted enough that it got me out. And if he bluffed, I doubt it because he knows that, out of my game and his game, like I said, he can bluff, but he never really does that. And if he did, he's really, really smooth at it. You'll never know. But he could have done that and felt he was protecting his hand too. Maybe he had high ace like I did, and we just, went for it. And maybe he put me on that and just said, if I bet, maybe he'll fold and go away. The money's there. We don't want to check it, of course. Somebody has to bet. But because he called all my moves, I lost that hand. All right. Now we're moving on, and I'm mixing these up as I go in memories. The ones that had me getting deflated while I was in there. And I'm like, no matter what I'm doing, nothing is making any sense. So I get pocket jacks. I'm going to be first to act. I make it What? No, I'm not first to act, but I'm following. So I think I'm small blind. I can't remember everything. Like I said, when you get drained, you actually get drained with this. So right now I'm in drain mode, right? And a young man who's an all right, he's a good poker player. He made it 7. It came to me, and I made it 18, right? With my pocket jacks. I still got players behind me, so I don't want to bet too high, right? I'm just trying to bet and see what happens. If anybody goes over the top, then I'll make my decision. Nobody went over the top. Matter of fact, everybody folded. It got around to him, and he called, and flop comes out. Flop comes out, queen, king, something else, right? So now I'm frozen with my jacks. He checks, I check. Turn card comes out, and he checks, I check, and he say, really, right? He says, really. Now to me, that is a signal that he is letting me know that I'm probably ahead, but he's saying really, but I'm not, I'm blocking it out. I'm not really listening to it like that's going to trigger me to make a decision to fire if he has a queen or king, right? So we both check. River card comes out, and it's 2 clubs on the board, and he says, I got there, right? Now these are just words. I still got a decision to make. I can't beat the queen, I can't beat the king, but at the same time, because of what we did, he made it 20. So I said, okay, I'll pay to see it, right? Just in case. He turns over, 5-6. He hit runner. Turn card, 5. River card, 6. That is how my jacks got beat. Not by the queen, not by the king, but by the 5-6. He hit runner. Moving on. Like I said, it was an early session for me. This was my all-in moment. We get in, and I get a lucky to hit. I get a lucky call, right? Nobody does anything. So I check. I got 3-4 of heart in my hand. 3-4. So I don't fold. I just check my blind. Big blind special. Flop comes out 3, 4, 5. So there's a flush draw out there, of course. Everybody checks. Somebody bets. They bet at 10, right? So I'm thinking they're betting 10 because maybe they got something like you know what they did? I'll tell you what they had to in a little bit. But getting on with this. He bets. It gets to me, and I say all in, right? I'm trying to shut it down, give somebody the opportunity. If they want to chase the flush, chase it. But I'm going all in, so I go all in. A guy's sitting there thinking about it, and I don't know what he's thinking about. I guess he thought I had flopped it straight because I was first to act. That would make sense. I had ace deuce. Maybe that's what he thought I had. I thought he was chasing the flush because he was thinking about it. So I said, okay, he must be on a flush draw. He's overthinking. He's contemplating this. I know he's thinking I got ace deuce, but I'm trying to sell it that maybe that is what I have, but I only got the 3-4. So he's thinking about it. And then he says, okay, I called. He calls all in. It gets around to little buddy. Little buddy is thinking, he's upset. He's slamming his chips as he's trying, because it's a 3-4-5. He doesn't know where I'm at. He doesn't know where the other guy's at because he called my all in. He's thinking about, maybe I got both of them, right? Maybe somebody got pocket 6s, somebody got pocket 7s, I got pocket 9s. You get what I'm saying? So he folds, he goes away. The other guy says, what do you want to do? You want to run it? So I look at the pot, and I'm like this. I don't never run twice. I feel if you call me, right, and if you ask me that, then I'm thinking that either you need something or you think I already have it. Like I said, you think I have the straight. If you think I have the straight, then why would you call it all in? Especially if you're not on the flush draw, which he was not. He wasn't on the flush draw. He wasn't sure if I had the ace deuce in my hand. Right? So why would you call it all in? His choice, his decision. But me, myself, when somebody called me, I usually don't run it twice. The only way I run it twice is when I know we got 3 or 4 people in the hand, right? Because that means there's gonna be more money out there. So I look at it like a bomb pot, right? A single board bomb pot is what we're playing. That's how I look at a run it twice situation. But since it's me and him, we heads up. There was nothing really out there in the pot. So I just said, no, man, I just rather winner takes all. If you get it, you got it. And then he said, what you got? I said, well, I got 2 pair. And then he said, me too. And I said, let me guess, you got top 2. And he said, yeah. So he had 5-4 and I had 3-4. Turn card comes out, blink, we miss. River card comes out, blank, we miss. Turn the cards over, we're done. That was my all in. I was about to get up and leave at that time. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna fire one more bullet, right? Fire one more bullet. It's early. So go to the ATM. I get a little bit out to get me back in the game. I sit down and I get a couple of hands, nothing major. I wasn't playing too many. But this was to let me know of why it may be time to exit stage left. I get king, queen. King, queen. Suited. I go ahead and of course, when it gets to me, everybody's doing 2, 2, 2. It gets around to me and I say, okay, I gotta show some strength. So I could have said 50 and shut it down, but because of the way I was running and everybody's calling me no matter what. Remember I told you the guy called me with the 5-6. I put out $18 and he still called with the 5-6, right? And he got there, turn, river card, 5-6. So I make it 15. Everybody goes away except for one guy and he calls. So I'm wondering, what does he have, right? Flop comes out, 3, 4, 7. I'm first to act. So, of course, what am I going to do? I fire, right? I put out 30. He comes back across and he says all in. Snap all in. It wasn't no, let me think about it. No, he basically, and I know him, when he has a hand, he's real quick, right? When he has this move that he does, right? And it's not it's a move like I'm in the zone. I got this. You can't touch me. And when I said 30, he just went quick with his chips and shoved. And he said all in and sat back. When he did that, I said, okay, that's it. I'm done. I folded to it. I picked up my chips and I said, clock me out. I said, I'm done. I'm done. And so I go get my money and I'm driving home. And I'm just having that look on my face like you see me now. Like, I can't believe it. I'm not sad. I'm not in pity mode. I'm happy and everything like that. But the way that this is happening and the way it is going, it is almost like just a no-win situation. It almost like play the game because you enjoy playing, but do not expect anything to come from this that's going to be like I said, I would never tell anybody to make this an assignment where you make this your livelihood, right? When you're doing things like this, you're not always guaranteed. So first off, I would always let you know this. I'm in a good lane, right? My house is, you see it back behind me right now. So I have my house, I have my mortgage. I'm in a Z71 2026 Chevy Tahoe. That's what I'm talking to you from right now. My wife has a 2025 Honda Pilot. I got my third one over there, which is a 2014. That's our little beach cruiser that we drive back and forth to the beach. But I make sure that all my responsibilities are handled and met because of things like this that can happen. This would make me feel really, I don't know if it would make me feel depressed, but I'm thinking it would because I will be relying on this for my livelihood, especially if I know that I'm okay at this game that I can make moves that are beneficial. Only thing I need is for the cards to hold up, right? And you can't always guarantee that. No matter how great you may think you are at this game, no matter how much you respect the assignment of poker, of what is how and how it's meant to play, let me tell you, it just doesn't work like that. I told you the story of my guy that called $450 all in. Well, not really all in. He still had chips, but he called $450, chasing a flush. One card, the river card. That's where it came down to. And he called it and chased it and he hit it. So that is not based off skill. That's actually based off luck. So that is what you almost have to mix this up with. You have to mix it up with skill and you have to mix it up with luck. The luck is always going to be your first two cards depending on what you're playing. If you're playing PLO, your first four cards. If you're playing Congress, your first five cards. If you're playing Holdem, then it's going to be your first two cards, and so on. Whatever game you playing, the luck comes from the hand that you first receive. After that, it's a little bit of the skill, right? Where you know how to guide and play it out in order to make something happen where you're going to get paid for it, right? So that's the skill set. Also, being able to read the board, being able to read players and things like that. Don't sell yourself where a player can figure you out and because you're just so, what they always expect you to do, you always do. And now a lot of times they're right? They're right. I'll put it like that. I think the way I felt about it being in my backyard, I thought it was a no-brainer at first. I thought it was on a level where this makes perfect sense. This is here for a reason because I'm good at playing poker. Of course, I want to play it every day if I can, right? I love the game. Of course, I want to play it every day as long as I want. I want to play it. I'm married to a wife, a woman who likes to play it as well, right? So I'm thinking I got everything that you can imagine to have this in my backyard as a retiree. Fishing, poker, things like that goes hand in hand in my life. But now, since all this stuff is happening, it is letting me know that I need probably to pump the brakes because even though this was my poker stash that I was winning, I was giving it back. Right? And you can play with it and say, oh, it's just my poker stash, no big deal. This is the money I'm playing with house money, right? That's a good way to look at it. But in your psyche, if you are a person that loves challenges, right? And you figure that you are good at the art, at the craft, and no matter what, something is blocking you from getting and having success, right? Like I told you, I got pocket jacks, and what happened? On the flop, a queen and king hits the board. Freezes me up, right? And then he hits runner, 5-6. He had nothing up to that point. So if he hits one of them, that's fine. But in the same time, when we turn our hands over, I'm gonna win with my jacks. King, queen, ace, queen, missed everything, right? And it's been not even a roller coaster. It's actually just been a downswing. I'm not going to call it a roller coaster because I have not buying in 300. Since last Tuesday, I have not come close to anything close to $500. That is how slow and how off my game has been. When I was doing good, I was walking out of there with close to $900, 1,000 here, 7 there, 6, sometime I get up and just walk out of there with 5, right? But I was on the upswing of it and it had me feeling that rush that you're supposed to feel, like, I did what I said I was going to do, play for the hours I was going to play, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow, right? I always say there's always tomorrow. So when you do win, get up. Today, I was just humoring it. I told my wife, I said, babe, I'm so on a downswing that I just want to go in there and win $50. I'm going to buy in for $3. And if I run it up to $3.50, I'm getting up and getting up out of there. Just to have some kind of feeling and back in charge moment to make me feel like I conquered what I was going to do today. Right? Just get $50. Get up out of there. I couldn't even get $50, y'all. I think the highs I got was probably about 20 maybe, right? About $20. That's about it. I started off down and then had to get the money back. So when I did win a $50 pot or a $60 pot, that was basically because I had already lost close to 80 and I was trying to get the money back. You see what I'm saying? So when I did win, I didn't win. I just got the money back to get me back even to my buy-in. Because that ace queen hit me in the face. The 5-6 hit me in the face, right? And then the 4-5, even though I wasn't done yet, but that 4-5 wiped me out. And then I had to start back over, buy it back in for another 3. And then all of a sudden, I lost to somebody when I got king, queen, $15, the flop comes out and everything goes south. 3, 4, 7, something like that is what it was. I know 7 was the highest. He could have came in with a pair of 7s. And he could have probably put me on a pair, right? He want to make sure I don't hit my set. He already got his set, right? So he goes all in because what else he's going to do? He can't try to trap me. If he's got a low set, that's what he's got. And he can't trap me, right, with that bet, because if he does think I have a pocket pair like queens, kings, or aces, and if I hit any of those, now he's in a situation. Same thing I would have did. I'm all in. I'm all in. Why am I going to waste? Why am I going to take a chance and let you get another card? So that is how that day today went. But it's been like that since, and today is Thursday. It's been like that since about last Tuesday. I have not, I was up and down last week. This week was just down, down, down. I was subtracting. I was actually having to go back in my poker stash, grab 3, play 3, lose 3, play another 3. Same thing, no matter what. Everybody I played against, it just seemed like their hands got there. And if I did have anything that could make any money, it was because I was trying to get the money back that I lost from the other session, from the earlier plays, because I was down, right? I never went forward. I'll just continue to go down, get part of it back, right? Get back even, may go up a little bit, back down. You see what I'm saying? So it was not, it's almost like the downswing is there, but at the same time, it's starting to come to a point now that I'm actually starting to reevaluate this whole situation, and I'm in a good lane with my life and everything, right? And it almost feels like when somebody is trying to tell you something and they're saying, come on, man, you've been playing this thing for how long now? I've been playing poker, man, since 2002, 2003, when I first got introduced to it. I'm not going to say I played it on a regular because we didn't have it like that. We had house games. We had some poker rooms that got installed and things like that. But at the same time, it did not have me playing it the way that I have been playing it. I knew it was there, and I had other things I was doing with my life, right? Traveling, going places, things like that, getting out of town and riding out somewhere, take the wife to go see something she wanted to go see, things like that. But lately, I came up with this idea that because of this new poker house that they built, perfect, 9-seat, Has the monitors right there with everybody's names going around each seat that you're sitting. It keeps a reading on how long your time is, how much time you got before you have to add on to it. Everything is perfect. Can't beat it. Great, delicious food, staff, waitresses and stuff like that. Clean establishment, parking perfect, lighted, the whole nine. Perfect, right? Everything that you want it to be is there. Now, it's so good that now I feel like I almost have to walk away from it and visit it if I do decide to play once in a blue moon. And I know I might have to because I got a friend of mine who does just that. If he plays for so many days and he realizes that it's not happening, and he just told me, he just said, man, when that happens to me, if I go 4 days and if I'm getting beat when I know that I'm not doing anything wrong for it to happen the way it's happening, but it makes your mouth drop on what the situation is. He said, man, I don't show back up for another couple of weeks, another month. Because you almost have to, because this will mess with your psyche, right? Especially if you're taking it serious, where you came up with a plan. If you try to come up with something that you felt this could do, then it's going to mess with you, because now you're not playing it just to enjoy it. You actually have a mission. You actually made a mission. And that is when it can get troublesome to the mental state. And that's not what you want. That's not what I want. And I just told myself that when I walked out of there, I walked out and never looked back. I got my money and I told everybody, I'll see y'all later, right? Have a good one. But I walked out and I never looked back. I got in my truck and I just rode out and I got away from it. Like they say in the Bible, don't look back, you turn into stone. That's the way I felt. I had to get up out of there, because that is how deep that it was cutting, because I wanted so much from this. Everything was perfect. Perfect layout. Perfect layout. I'm like, 2 cards. Play them. You shouldn't lose. Your game is good. It's respectable. You're not a gambler. You play the game the way it's supposed to be played, right? That is what I felt. But now, it just makes you say, damn that book. Damn it all. Just do something different. Go play when you feel you want to play to enjoy it. And if it doesn't happen, go back to that way you used to feel when you just went out of town and you played, right? We go out of town. We know we spending money on a hotel. We spending money on food. We spending money on gas, right? We may be spending money on other things because something was forgotten, and then we might have to go to a Walmart or something to go pick it up, right? To make up for what we thought we left at the house. So we never looked at it like we were going to try to get money and come back with it. We just said, let's go get out of town and go up here to go play some poker, right? That is how we looked at it. Let's just go play some poker. But now, when I came up with this idea that I was going to do this and try to stack and get a quota met, and I counted how much I was going to make per month and all that, nah. I was trying to run it like I was in a business. I was trying to run my game like a business. I'm telling you, that's what I was trying to do. That was the idea. And at first, it was happening. That idea was in effect. But now, that last week and today, nah, it's a wake-up call, buddy. That is a definite wake-up call. I have to start over. I just gave up almost close to my last bit of my poker stash. I would almost have to start over again, right? So, yeah, that is where I'm at with mine. So anyway, this is just conversation about what took place today, what I'm thinking, and where I'm planning on, how I'm seeing this now as, just going back, because I don't want to go into my accounts. I don't want to use my credit cards, right? I don't want this to get me so overwhelmed that it controls me, right? And make me do things like that. And I've seen people do that. I've seen people use their credit cards to gamble with, right? The interest and taking cash advance is worse than using your credit card. And now you got to hope that you can get on the table and play and win so you can put that money back on your credit card. And that is not something that you want to do. You don't want to do that. Trust me. So again, man, like I said, the game, I think, was starting to control me more than I was controlling it. So I have to reset, and I have to take that time off and stop going into the lane that I wanted to go in and just enjoy playing, but not getting so overwhelmed with it that I want to just continue on a daily grind like I have been doing, because that daily grind is something that was coming ahead. It really was. I was getting up every morning and actually getting up there between 9 and 10, waiting around for us to get started. And then I was going to grind it out. And I was hoping that the results were going to be building a bankroll and building a stash, right? My own personal investment to myself. So now we're going to have to rethink it. So again, man, thanks for the listening. Anybody listening to this, appreciate it. Appreciate the likes and subscribes. I'll still keep talking about poker and stuff like that because, like I say, I love it. But at the same time, I'm going to have to, what do you call it? I think they call it digress or something like that, and go back and reprocess this and get my mentality off of what I felt I was going to do and get something else to take its place, right? Plus, at the same time, if I'm not playing, I got money. Regardless of how I want to see it, I still will have money. So that's always the pro when you say pros versus cons. If you don't play, you can't lose money. That's for sure. And, you know, even though we love money, I hope you do anyway. I know I do. I don't love it on a level where I'll do anything wrong to somebody to get it. But I worked hard for it, and I'll be damned if I'm going to lose it now to a situation that I can control, right? So with that said, I'm out, y'all. Thanks for listening. Peace.